you're a producer. Depending on the genre of music that you work in, you probably already know the importance of making your drums knock. And right now, you're looking for different techniques to be able to accomplish this in a very easy way. My name is El Marquis, musician, rapper, record producer, unashamed fast follower, and today, I'm going to teach you how to layer your drums in Maschine and Logic Pro 10.
El Marquis Productions.
Hello fellow bedroom producers, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time seeing me, I make videos that give advice to independent artists and producers all around the world. I make videos that give tutorials on Logic Pro 10. I break down my beat making and songwriting process, and also I do product reviews. So if any of that interests you, I need you to do me a really quick favor. Go down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so that way you'll be notified whenever I make another video like this, and you'll help other people with similar interests as you see more videos like this. Got that out the way? Bet. Let's get into the video. Before we get into the main topic of this video, I want to give a quick shout out to DistroKid. DistroKid kindly reached out to me to sponsor my channel for the month of May. So today we're going to highlight one of their features, which is the HyperFollow feature. And if you're not sure what that is or if that's interesting to you, we'll get into that in more detail later on in this video. So late last year, 2020, I made a video where I break down how I personally use Maschine inside of Logic Pro 10. I also included a link to download the template that I use in the description of that video. And as of the recording of this video, that tutorial video actually ended up blowing up and turning into my most viewed video of all time. And pretty much almost every day, I'm getting notifications of people actually downloading the template, which is awesome. Since then, I actually haven't made another video talking about how I use Maschine inside of Logic Pro 10. So clearly, since that's what people like to see, I decided to make this video. Using Maschine inside of Logic Pro 10 actually makes it really easy to layer your drums. Whether you need to make them knock harder or if you just want to add another texture to make your own sound, it's super easy and it's super useful to layer your drum sounds. So now I'm going to go switch over to the computer and I'll break down how to quickly layer drums in Maschine and Logic Pro 10. So today I'm going to break down two different ways that I personally like to layer my drums in Maschine and Logic Pro 10. There's really no right or wrong way to layer your drums or really do anything in regards to making music or just music production in general. I'm just sharing two different techniques that I personally use. So that way maybe you can learn something, take some inspiration from what you learned in this video, or if maybe you use a different technique that may be more efficient or may get you a different result, then of course you can feel free to educate me and let me know about it. Also, if you haven't seen my other video on how to actually get Maschine to work inside of Logic Pro 10, you can click that card in the corner so that you can check out that video and learn how to set this template up for yourself. Or if you want to save yourself some time and just download the exact same template that I'm using, there's a link to download it in the description of this video. So before I teach you how to layer your drums, you may want to know why you should layer your drums in the first place. So you don't always have to layer your drums for every single song or beat that you work on, but you may want to layer your drums if you either want your drums to hit more aggressively or if you want to add different textures to your sounds. And Maschine makes it really easy to layer your drums. So the first thing you would do is of course find different drum sounds that you want to use. So you either can click browse on your Maschine controller, or of course you can look through your different kits right here on the screen. So actually I'll do this way just because this is what you can actually see. And I'm just gonna pick some random drum sounds really quick just to get the point across. I'm not really looking to make a full beat right now, I just want to break it down the technique. So let's hear what this drum sounds like. Okay, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. That sounds cool. So right now I'll actually just put down this sound. You can hear it play right now. So that sound already does sound really cool, but what if I wanted to add some additional textures to it? Or what if it just wasn't hitting the way I wanted to, and maybe adding another kick would make the layer hit a bit harder? The easiest thing to do would be to add another kick, or really any other type of sound that you want to add. So the quick way to be able to do this is either hit sampling on your Maschine controller or hit S on the keyboard for your computer. Go over here to zone, and then from here you can go through and browse through different sounds. So let's see. So that adds a different texture than the first kick that's on there. So I'm just gonna drag that over, drag it to that plus sign right there. And now when I hit this pad, it's triggering both of those sounds at the same time. And also from there, you can edit both of these sounds. So for example, let's say I want kick airbag 1 to be the main kick and I want kick bitmap 1 to be a bit quieter. I can go over here to the gain section and just turn it down. So now the kick airbag 1, that's the main kick that you're hearing, and kick bitmap just adding a bit of layer. I also can do it the other way around. So let's turn up that second layer and then go back to kick airbag and turn that one down. So now you can hear, more of the low end from the kick airbag and then that punchiness of the kick bitmap. You also can edit both of the samples individually. So let's say you only want this portion of the kick to play. You can easily edit it through the Maschine plugin itself or on your controller. You're also able to tune the individual samples as well. So let's say you want the kick bitmap to be a little bit higher in tone. You can just go over here and tune it up or tune it down. So here, let's hear what this sounds like. So that sounds a bit harsh to me for this specific example. So let's turn it down and see and hear what that sounds like. That also sounds a bit muddy, so maybe for this example in particular, maybe you don't want to tune it at all. But either way, you do have that option to tune both of your samples. For another example, let's try finding a snare drum. So there are tons of good examples right here. Let's load up this snare, and now let's also layer it with another snare. The way that you can do this on your machine controller is click sampling, go to where it says zone on the controller, click add, and then you can browse through these different sounds. And if you have the Maschine Mark III or the Maschine Plus, you click the browser knob and then you just load it up with a new sample right there. So let's hear what this sounds like now. So that's both samples playing at the same time. And of course you can go through and turn down one of the samples. So I'm turning down the snare Skylark 2. Let's say I want to turn that one up and I want to turn the original snare down a little bit. Something else you could do also is pan the sound. So I'm going to add one more sound to this layer. Let's add that one. So let's say I want snare 8th Wonder 1 to be in the center, and let's say I want the snare Skylark 2 to be in the left channel and snare Black L Gunna, however you pronounce that, to the right. So let's hear what this sounds like. So that's a really cool layer too. So now the snare isn't just coming down the main channel, you have two other snares making a layer on the left and the right channel, which makes it sound a bit wider. That could be a really cool effect that you play around with. And whenever you are layering your kicks or your snares, for example, you don't have to go through and layer them with the same type of drum sound. You also could go through and layer them with a percussion sound. So actually let's go through, I'll just find, let's use that for example. So I'll load that on a different zone. I'll delete those for now just so you can focus on the snare as well as this percussion sound. So those together sound like this. And just like with any of the other sounds, with this I will probably turn it down a bit, just I want that to feel like a texture. So let's hear what this sounds like. Turn down a little bit more. Perfect, that makes for a really cool layer. That would also be really useful if you are making your own drum kit and you want to do some sound design techniques. So maybe you have another snare that you already created and you want to layer it with another sound that you created. You could use that. Artists, producers, whenever you're promoting a new single or a project, it's very important to make it as easy as possible for people to find and listen to your music. You yourself may use Spotify, but your fans may use a different service such as Apple Music or YouTube or Tidal. To make sharing your music as easy as possible, I highly recommend taking advantage of DistroKid's HyperFollow feature. For no additional charge, basically you'll be able to create a landing page for your music, and then you can send that link out to your fans, and then they themselves can choose to listen to your music on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, Amazon, your own personal website, and everywhere else that your music is available on. Also, for marketing purposes, you can embed your Facebook pixel and your Google Ads pixel on that landing page, so that way you'll be able to market your music to your existing fan base, as well as have the ability to reach out to new potential fans that are similar to your existing fan base. Two very overlooked features about building your fan base is making it as easy as possible for people to find your music, as well as being able to market your music. So whether you're already a member of DistroKid or if you are still looking for reasons to sign up to DistroKid, I highly recommend using their HyperFollow feature. If you do sign up with them, you're able to upload an unlimited amount of music to all major music streaming platforms for only $19.99 a year. And if you are interested in signing up with them, I actually included a link in the description of this video to where you can get a 7% discount off of your first year with them. For full transparency, in addition to getting that discount, I'll also get a percentage of that sale. And of course, that sale will be reinvested back into this business so that I can continue putting out dope content like this, and of course be able to increase the quality of my own music. I personally would never recommend using a product or a service that I don't back up myself. So if you are an artist or producer who wants to upload an unlimited amount of music to all the major music streaming platforms, and if you want to create a beautiful landing page for your music so that it makes it more accessible to your fans, I highly recommend signing up with DistroKid. So that was the quickest way to layer drums, and also that's the easiest technique to use in my opinion if you want to trigger all of your layers at the same time. So here's the second technique that I'll use. Let's say I want to layer the snare drum with a percussion sound, but I don't want them to play at the exact same time, or maybe I want to have a bit more control of the sound of one or the other. So I'll remove the percussion sound from this pad and I'll just place it on a different pad. So now here's the snare drum and here's the percussion. So I can still have them playing at the same time if I record a pattern and play them at the same time. So matter of fact, I'll do that really quick. So now they're playing at the same time, but maybe I don't want them to play at the same time. Maybe I want one of them to be a little off grid and make it sound like it's doing a flam. So I'll go over here to the percussion sound, I'll go to keyboard mode, and I'll just nudge it over a little bit. And I'm doing this by holding shift on the Maschine controller and clicking pad number 8. So now if you look at them both, they're playing at around the same time, but the percussion sound is playing a little later. Let's hear what this sounds like. In fact, I'll nudge it over a little bit more just so you can really hear it. And you should be able to hear it like that, but I just want to make it a bit more obvious. So I'll just continue nudging it a bit. So now you can hear the percussion sound lagging a bit behind the snare. That would sound really cool in any genre of music that you don't want everything to sound perfectly on grid, like hip hop or lo-fi or boom bap, for example. Also, since both sounds are routed to different channels in Logic, here's the snare right here, and here's the percussion sound right here. Let's say I want to affect the sound of both of these tracks a little bit differently. Let's say on that percussion sound, I want to take out more of the low end. So I'll just go over here, pull up an EQ, and let's take out all of this actually, just so you can really hear what it sounds like. Let's go and take out all of this. I'll even take out some of the high end, just so you can hear what it sounds like. Or maybe let's say I want to add a really weird effect on it. I don't know. Let's put a reverb on, just so you can hear what this sounds like. So the quickest thing to do would be just put them on the same pad and have them trigger at the same time. But if you want to layer the same drum sound but have it lag behind a little bit and have more control over all the effects that you place on the individual layers, you can place them on 2 separate pads and layer them that way. So there's no right or wrong way to layer your drum sounds. These are 2 techniques that I use the most often, both for their own purposes. So if I want to layer a sound, trigger it at the same time, and have the exact same effects on each layer, I'll do what I did originally, which was find a sample that I like, go to the sampling tab, and add multiple layers to the original sound. And that's how you can get a sound like this. So it's both of those kicks being triggered at the same time. Or if I want to layer the same drum sound, but I want to have them play slightly differently and add different effects to one of the layers, that's where you can get a sound like this. Which on this example, you hear the percussion sound playing a little bit behind the snare sound, and that way I'm also able to EQ the percussion sound a bit differently, and then also put a different effect, in this example a reverb, on it. Whenever I'm producing, these are 2 techniques that I specifically use, but of course there are different ways to get different results using your own techniques. There's no right or wrong way to layer your drums. I personally would just recommend using whatever technique inspires you to create the best music possible. So now you just learned how to quickly layer your drums in Maschine and Logic Pro 10. Thank you for watching this video. If you like what you've seen today, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you'll never miss when I upload a new video. Also, if you go down to the description of this video, you'll find links to get that 7% discount off of your first year with DistroKid, as well as my Maschine and Logic Pro 10 template. So that way you can just download the template, open it up, and that will save you time the next time you want to use Maschine inside of Logic Pro 10, as I already routed it, so all you need to do is open up the template and you're pretty much just ready to go. Also, be sure to visit my website, lmarquisproductions.com, where you'll be able to check out my music, my beats, my sample kits, my merchandise, and my mixing, mastering, and consulting services. Now go down in the comment section below and let me know what are some other ways to layer your drums in Maschine and Logic Pro 10, and also what are some other tutorial videos that you would like to see me cover on the channel. My name is L Marquis Productions. God bless.